Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, I am going to talk about a car event that I went to last weekend. It was called the Wheels of NYC at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. It was at the former Fish Marketing Warehouse. It was a really cool event, a really cool space featuring a lot of great music and a lot of cool people. Take a look at some of the footage of some of the coolest cars in New York City, and let's go. So the first car that catches your attention is obviously the E-Production Speedster, and also this 8-liter V10 400 horsepower Dodge Viper RT10, one of the early Vipers that has an amazing motor and a lot of power. This particular Speedster though was modified by Rock's Design, beautiful car with a very rich history, and actually was used in race competition. Behind it, you could see that 911 SC, a beautiful car. And over here, we have this beautiful Jaguar, a pair of Jaguars with spectacular interiors. And you could see everyone just taking out their cameras because there's not a single boring place to look. But this Jaguar, this E-Type, was considered to be the most beautiful car that Enzo Ferrari had ever seen. But I also was very blessed to have brought this 300 TD turbo diesel with a manual transmission from Stray Dog Classics, a car that is now sold. It was prominently featured at the bridge, and because it was featured at the bridge, it had an opportunity to be featured on the Mercedes-Benz Classic Instagram page. A cool feature. This Datsun is also spectacular, but what's even more spectacular is this right-hand drive Nissan Skyline. 4-door example at that. This beautiful Porsche owned by my friend Davin964. Oh, hey Dewey. And we have this beautiful clown shoe BMW, and we have a beautiful Gambala E30, and we have a very original example of an E30, but it's lightly modified, tastefully modified. I love E30s because of their driving dynamics. BMW's amazing. And I think that's what makes this car community very special. It's the idea that you can bring together people from different walks of life, different interests, and they all come together with the idea that music, fashion, photography, videography, all these things just have a intersectionality that brings a diversity to this community, which is always a fun thing. The diversity that is evident throughout this car community can be seen with the diversity in the way that people modify their cars. For example, this Porsche 930 Turbo has custom parts from Japan, as well as some roof parts, including those wheels, and those wheels are amazing. I love everything about this car, including the color. It's a popular color, being that it's L80 Guards Red, but you see another Guards Red example in this G-body right here with this really cool sticker. So many cool cars, so many cool features, so many cool badges, and it just sits perfectly right with that license plate. And I really like this BBS LM 964, owned by one of my buddies. As you walk the route, you see so many cool features and so many cool cars. And of course, people obey the rules, and that's the cool thing about it. Like, everyone's very respectful of each other's stuff. And I love that Land Rover, because Land Rovers are cool. And speaking of British cars, look at that beautiful Jaguar. And as I'm walking around, I see this Audi, and that was incredible. But first, before I get to the Audi, this photo booth allows people to take pictures with cars, and I thought that was really cool. But Audis are sometimes the forgotten stars within the car community, because Audis, everyone thinks about Porsche and BMW, Mercedes, and they hog up all the attention. But Audis were rally champions, and the Quattro was revolutionary. But what's revolutionary is the TE37s on this Ferrari FF, with a really cool navy leather interior and a really cool V12 motor. This is a really, really cool car that I think is going to age incredibly well into the future. I love the Ferrari FF. And one of the first Ferraris I ever drove was a GTC4 Lusso. And of course, more Ferraris. And taking place in Brooklyn just means that it's a centralized location for people from all the boroughs to come together and congregate, because New York is not necessarily the place where you have cars coming together in the same way that they do in California or in other regions that have better roads. There's so many barriers to prevent you from having nice cars living in New York City. So the fact that we work extra hard to have these toys in New York City means that there's a genuine love for these machines, and there's an appreciation for this stuff. And the beautiful thing is, if you absolutely had the urge to draw on a car or touch a car, here was your opportunity. I gladly took the opportunity to leave my name and my number on top of the car, because why not? I wanted to practice my graffiti skills, which I have not exercised in a really long time. But besides that, I drew on the car and I had a lot of fun, and I decided to look at some Toyota Land Cruisers and some other cool vehicles, including this wonderful full-service Porsche 911 Targa G-Body. Also has a G50 transmission, just like mine. And of course, I spent some time in Paris this past year, in the month of August, and this car is a complete Parisian vehicle. It is a perfect car to describe, Paris. And of course, the most American car here is this Lincoln. And of course, a two-door Skyline just never gets old. A beautiful car. One car that definitely stole the show that arrived a little later was this Ibushi modified Mercedes G-Wagon. Complete custom car that is done to factory specifications. This car, I truly believe, inspired the OEM to actually build one, because this car was not in the plans, and then Ibushi built this, and immediately OEM Mercedes decided to build one as a 2026 model. So that was cool to see. So after spending a considerable amount of time in the interior of the Auger Fish Warehouse in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, we decided to go outside and check out some of the cars out there. And out there, the cars were just as impressive. And just when you think the show is over, there happens to be an entire outdoor section with just as many cars that I did not even get around to seeing all of them. But what definitely caught my eye was this Kingfisher Blue Jaguar XJS, a car that I just completely admire. It's one of the most beautiful cars of the 1990s. It's got the flying buttress design. It's just a cool car, and I really like this coupe. And, the Saab is cool too. Like that's Blake's car. That's a great, great car. And of course, you're walking around and you see so many cool Japanese trucks. And then you have this car, a 964 that is changing colors. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. This car has changed colors. It was originally Guards Red, and my friend Sarah decided, I want to make it Irish green. But that's an entire video, so we'll get into that later. Follow and subscribe. And if you really want to buy this car, it is for sale. And I'm like, what's inside? A Nas CD. Beautiful. I like that. That's cool. But why the banana on Nas? That's, Anyway. This cool Fast and Furious inspired Targa topped Supra looked really cool. We enjoyed looking at all these amazing cars throughout, and just look at the scenery. The entire city is right behind you. Does not get better than that. It's just absolutely incredible. But back to the cars, we have this awesome Porsche 930 Turbo, another 930 Turbo, because Porsches are popular here in New York, and this is my friend Josh. He is a Porsche junkie. He loves Porsches, and I just had to feature his car because his car is absolutely a rock star. Great car and great wheel choice. Just makes good decisions about his cars always. And the car definitely drives as good as it looks. So many cool cars, and obviously I'm partial because I love Porsches, but There's so many cool cars throughout the vicinity, and obviously because the weather was cooperating, there was more stuff to see. And this entire section of the baby Benz, we have just the steering wheel alone is so cool. And of course, beautiful skyline, a beautiful King Joffrey Mercedes from Coming to America. Cool car. Shout out to the BBS boys, because this is a car that they would totally approve of. An amazing vehicle. And of course, we have all these cars on bags. And what I mean by having the car on bags, that means the suspension is an air suspension and it is lowered to the ground for the purpose of looking cool. And of course, that's an AMG Black Series, one of the best cars that ever came out of Mercedes' factory. And there's just not a boring sight within this entire facility. The Brooklyn Navy Yard serves as an amazing venue for hosting. The Wheels of NYC is always a fun event. I enjoy going to it every year, and unfortunately this was the season closer, so there won't be any more events coming from Wheels of NYC until the spring. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to do during the winter, because for someone like me, I drive my cars year round. This car is a car that I take on the streets no matter the season. The only thing that I do avoid actively is preventing it from seeing salt roads. So you will see me out in the streets of New York City driving my 911. Nothing prevents me from stopping it year round. So with that said, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, taking the time out of your busy schedules to watch this, and please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.